7 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting of the Village Board of Trustees for the Village of Dansville, regular meeting to order. Would you please stand, join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We have all the department heads with the exception of the fire department. They have indicated to me they won't be able to attend tonight due to training and some other issues that came up. So, moving right ahead, minutes for the committee meeting on December 4th, 2013, and the regular meeting on December 10th, 2013. The board should have updated versions of actually the regular meeting. I think of December. The December 4th meeting, I believe, has all that information in it that was that Trustee Criley brought to my attention Monday. So they should be corrected. I'll look them over. In which case, then I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll move that they be accepted with corrections.
Okay, we have a motion by Trustee Labarre to approve the minutes for the 4th and 10th of December. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second from Trustee Whitenack. Any other comments? Okay, not hearing any. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Down under Mayor's comments, correspondence. Just update the public that starting here in the near future, we'll certainly get the information out. I'm not sure if it'll be next month or another month after that. We're going to shift our meetings to a little later in the month so that we have time to get our financial records together and present it to the board in a timely manner. Current time frame doesn't work very well for us, so we will be changing that. Also, Livingston County signed for facade improvement program grants are now available, or I should say the applications are available. Anybody has any questions, we'll be putting out some flyers. Current businesses will also be getting them from the people in the county.
You're squeaking.
Somebody is. Probably me. Sounds like it. Okay. Yesterday, I attended the annual DEDC, that's the Dansville Economic Development Corporation meeting. It was basically some presentations from the county economic office and a few others. Also, transportation study kickoff meeting is on Thursday at 10 o'clock. I don't see there's any reason any of the board members can't attend if you want to be there for it. It includes representatives from Dansville, North Dansville, Sparta, and West Sparta. I'm not sure if Ocean's involved in that or not. I think they are. Anyway, that's what I have for my comments, correspondence. Now I'll turn it over on committee reports. And first item is a consolidation committee. Pat, you want to talk about that at all?
What have you received from the town regarding that?
The town is not going to be providing us with any correspondence. However, they do have two volunteers for the committee. That'd be Councilman Lavin and Councilman Hoare. And that's pretty much where that stands right now.
Could you explain what you mean by no correspondence?
Well, remember, there was a request that they have a letter of commitment. They are not going to provide us with a letter of commitment.
So they're committing without putting it in writing?
That's correct.
Okay. What about a budget?
Well, that's somewhat of a surprise to me. What about a budget? What do you need?
Oh, we talked about it. last week.
Not any length or anything. I mean, the committee's going to have to submit that as to what they need.
Okay, we'll have that by February's board meeting,
Oh,
or prior
okay.
to that, to both.
Yep, that's fine.
Did they provide you with any community members?
No.
Okay, we'll select those.
No,
I think, I left a copy of that municipal agreement for consolidation. And I don't know if we can, without them signing that, if we can legally proceed. I think it's the state law that, did I leave that, did I give that to you, Dick, or I give it to you?
The only thing I have is that resolution that
So, yeah,
trustee
it's a
Criley provided.
Joint resolution that has to be signed by both parties.
I'll say, I don't know why the town would even need to be involved at all unless we invite them into it.
Well, for consolidation, if we, well, I guess if we pursue other avenues, I guess we don't.
But I thought this was a joint effort.
Well, I don't know. If you're the one that talked with the board, I wasn't there at that evening.
But I think in lieu of their lack of enthusiasm, we probably should have some sort of an advertising budget at least in order to get the thing fired up so something can get moving along. It's, once again, it's stonewalled. We're 44 years into the first study that said we needed to consolidate. The governor stands up and beats his chest and says we need to consolidate these taxing districts. Everyone agrees, but we don't seem to be going anywhere. I'd like to make a motion that we make a budget not to exceed $5,000 to advertise for expenses involved with pursuing consolidation.
Do you have a recommendation where this money is coming from?
Yeah, we can take it out of line A1989.444, general government support. Reduce that by 5,000, put it into, I think, probably engineering thing or whatever. Or, well, actually, we can put it into board contractual, trustees contractual.
Excuse me. Back too far. That was from which line number again?
From A1989.444
To,
to trustees contractual, which is A1010.410.
okay, I have a motion from trustee Griffith to establish a budget of $5,000 to be moved from Alpha 1989.444 to line Alpha 1010.410. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay. I have a second from trustee Criley. Discussion. Okay, not hearing any. Trustee Criley?
Aye.
Trustee Labar?
No.
Trustee Whitenack?
No.
Trustee Griffith?
Aye.
And the mayor is a no.
So we have no commitment from the village board to proceed with the consolidation?
I'm not saying that, but I'm not so sure we just need to be setting aside money for something that really, I don't think has been thought out yet.
You've got to start somewhere.
I understand that, but, last month when we talked about this, I asked for, what was the mission statement going to be? What were our benchmarks going to be as far as milestones, that sort of thing? I haven't seen any of that yet.
Well, actually, no, all we did speak about was who the town was going to give to us or work with us on it, and we haven't really gotten any farther than that. Now that we have a couple names and they haven't given us anything out or anything in writing, it's hard to move forward without any funds to use.
Yeah.
Public has to be informed.
I don't disagree with that, but I'd like to see a more straightforward plan than.
Well, obviously, the money won't be used without going through the board.
Personally, I think that we need to put together the committee and identify as many members as we can as a starting point. At least have the committee meet once to have a discussion around what are the goals, what they want to achieve, perhaps put out how they're going to approach this, and put it together an estimated budget based upon what their needs are, not just a slush fund that they can draw fund from. If I see that, then I'm more willing to give it some consideration. But I'm not at a point where I'm going to approve of some whole dollar amount to utilize at this point based upon what you think your needs are. Put down on paper what you think your needs are, estimate what those needs are, and we'll act on it.
Trustee LeBar, how would you go about finding out from the village who was interested and who wanted to get involved in the process without advertising it?
Well, we pretty much know who was involved previously. Not that that is a finite list, but I think we have a pretty good idea in our heads whom perhaps would be good candidates. Now, should we eliminate the possibility of everybody serving on it? No. But I would like to at least reach out to those people in our minds that we think would be strong contributors as a good starting point. And you could at least get together as a committee to start to put together what your goals are, what you want to accomplish, and again, put together some type of estimated budget based upon what your needs are.
I kind of take issue with the slush fund comment. It's not a petty cash thing. I mean, you need money to get started. Oh, we can go ahead.
No, I understand that. Well, if you need money to get started, put it in a penny saver. Let's vote on, approving X amount of money required to put something in the penny saver based upon what your needs are. We don't need to vote on $5,000 to draw upon, at least not at this point. We don't even have a committee yet.
I think until you show some sort of commitment like that, you're not going to get one because everyone thinks it's going to be the same old thing. It's going to be a sweep it away, let it fall, let it die because we don't want to change. We just want to die a slow death.
Are you talking about the monetary commitment?
Yeah. Without a monetary commitment, you're a tire kicker.
All we're saying is put some more time and effort into it, come back to us, and we'll reassess what your needs are. I think, you've got a commitment. We already decided that we as a board are going to support the efforts, and all we're asking for those who are going to serve on the committee, or at least be the primary formers of the committee, put some more time and effort into it, that's all.
So what happens when we come back with things and you're like, nah, I guess I really didn't support that part of that or this part of it? If we have a fund and no one's going to ask for anything to be approved without full board approval, why wouldn't you just set aside some funds for that?
What's wrong with taking my suggested approach?
It's So repeat that again? You want
What
to-
is wrong
No, I
with
got
taking
that part.
my
Go ahead and
my
repeat.
suggested approach?
And that is, again?
To put together an estimate as far as what your needs are and bring it to the board versus asking for a fund to draw from. Identify what you think your initial needs are and what the monetary needs are to support them and bring it back to the board. Create the list of needs prior to asking for the money. That's all we're saying. If you get enough people together, if you have a committee meeting, and it may not be a full committee, and you determine that your initial needs are to put an ad in the local penny savers, or to somehow put the word out there that we're going to be involved in this effort, we'll act on it.
Trustee Whiteneck, can you give us your opinion, please?
Pardon?
Could you give us your opinion, please?
I'm, as far as the consolidation goes, I probably said where I stand on it right now. I don't think it's going to go anyplace.
So you're not committed to this at all?
Right.
Based on the findings of the studies done previously, you don't agree to change?
I can't see, I can't see promoting it any more than it is.
You believe we operate as efficiently as we currently are?
No, but it's, I can't see it's going to change.
We can't make a change though if we don't try.
Let it happen.
Well, no, you're saying you don't support it, so it's
Yeah.
kind of important for the board to be part of it.
I would like, again, I'm restating what I said previously, just for clarification to make sure everybody heard me. I think it's important for the committee to get together as the committee is defined today, or a week from now, whenever Pat, you being the leader, decides to have a committee meeting, put some time and effort into it.
I have, thank you.
I don't mean you haven't. You know I didn't mean that. Some additional time and effort. And identify what your goals are, what you like to achieve, what you think it'll take you to get there, start to finish, and come back with what your needs are to the board, and we'll act on it. I think it's just a matter of approach, that's all. That's just my input. And as long as we're talking about consolidation, I might as well comment. I was at the meeting that Trustee Pat was at, and the town board meeting. I think we went in with the idea that we were looking for them to come on board and support us. And my view or my observation is that they're going to lend their support, but not in a proactive way, at least not at this point. I think, they're going to serve on the committee. They're going to be cooperative. They're probably going to help gather information, but they're looking for us to really be the decision makers in moving forward.
Well, if
Would
you
that be fair enough?
will you recall that Donnie Maya said we could dump it in their lap? And we said we didn't
Right.
want to dump it in their lap.
Right.
We wanted to work together,
Yep.
combine town and village, to pursue this effort. And we said we didn't know what the outcome was going to be. Once we got it all together, hopefully we would all get to the same place together,
Yep.
whatever that may be.
They're looking for us to be the drivers of this entire process,
it's kind of sad because some of them have been members of the whole study that was done the last time. And that would be great for them to continue that effort and see where this may go, because they have a lot of insight that the rest of us weren't privy to, because we weren't part of the initial study.
Now, once we get this thing up and moving, it may turn out entirely different. That's a
Exactly.
possibility,
Exactly.
you know?
But we won't know until we get there.
Right, yep.
And we were hoping to have the support of the board to get there.
Any other comments on consolidation? Are we agreed anyway to go forward with what trustee Labar brought up, his proposal? Okay. Guess we'll move on then. Under codification, we haven't gotten any information back yet from the Rochester outfit as far as a proposal goes, so I'll just wait till next month. There should be more information available at that time. Also, we had discussed, although we didn't do it at the last meeting, we did discuss at the last regular meeting in December, the recording of executive sessions. Trustee Griffith, you weren't here, but one thing that you learn something new every day. The topic came up in a discussion I was having about whether or not the discussions that go on in executive session are privileged or confidential. In fact, there's nothing to say, there's nothing in the law that prevents anybody from bringing up that information. Now, it may be covered by another law, in which case you couldn't do it. But generally speaking, any information that is brought up in the executive session that doesn't have another law governing it, say HIPAA information, which does cover certain things, you could release to the public if somebody wanted to do that. I talked with Bob Freeman from the executive director of the Committee on Open Government. He says you could even record it surreptitiously if you wanted to. We discussed it a little bit last month. I know 3 of us are pretty much opposed to that. I'll open it up for further discussion if anybody wants to discuss it. I would say that generally speaking, there's opposition to it, so I would say that at least from an ethical point of view, we shouldn't be doing it. Anybody wants to make it a policy or something, we can discuss that at a later date. And with that, Village Clerk Aldrich, do you have anything you want to add under legislative?
Nothing useless.
Okay. Trustee Labar, Public Safety.
Public Safety Code Officer Tammy.
Yes, we have one less building in town.
I observed that.
One more,
One less building.
oh.
The one across from the GAR monument.
Actually got 2 less.
Mhm.
Got 2 less?
Yeah, the one up on Wilmot, corner of Wilmot and Cottage.
Oh, yeah, that's just a little residential house.
It's bigger than the building over here. Or was.
2 less buildings in town. My report's still the same, and as you can see, there's lots of pages, and I'm diligently working on trying to close out all the prints that are still open for 2013 that need to be wrapped up. And my intern starts tomorrow. I'm very excited, I already compiled for it.
Any questions for Code Officer Tammy? Thank you. Fire Department excused. Pete, you're going to cover the nonprofit status?
No, they Greg hadn't been able to get back to me on that. He said Bill Kirshner was going to look into it, talk with Dave Wolf about it, and get
Okay.
back to me.
Yep. Ambulance company, we do have a report submitted. President Jury, did you want to say something, or?
Yeah, just a few highlights that are not on here. We do have two brand-new EMTs. They recently received their certificates. As soon as they are cleared, they will be able to run without another EMT with them. We don't just throw them to the wolves. We make sure that they're comfortable practicing their skills on real people. So we also have 3 more testing on Thursday. 2 of those are former EMTs. Actually, all 3 are former EMTs where their cards had expired over a year ago. So 2 of them will be up and running probably as soon as they get the results. The other one is a transplant from New Jersey who had a national certification, which is not recognized here in New York. So he had to go through the whole process again. So once he is cleared, provided they all pass the test, and then we just interviewed and will be voting on 2 prospective members who are also transplants from out of the area. Both of them are current EMTs. They are coming out of Long Island into the area. They are not living in our district, but chose us to join. So they both came from a very active corps down there, probably 2,400 calls a year that they were running. A whole lot more bad stuff than we ever see. So, they will be voted on tomorrow night. Almost everybody gets voted in. Very few people that are but they came very highly recommended by their chief. So as soon as they are cleared through the process, they will both be running also. If there's anything that you want in a report that is not on here, I'm happy to make a note and get it to Scott. The 3rd page lists the 2014 officers. Matt Wolf is returning as Deputy Director of Operations. Henry Marlowe returning as our Captain of Training. Len Saluzzo is one of our lieutenants. Yours truly as President, because nobody else wanted it. And then Robin Camp just actually changed position. She went from Secretary to Treasurer. And, same way with John Stewart. He went from Vice President to Company Trustee. See, it's a busy year again. We've had our issues with covering calls, as we're all very well aware of. We do have some ideas that we will be going full tilt on here real soon. As soon as we have something to report, we will let you know.
Seems to me if you've got national certification, that why wouldn't it be
New York State,
recognized in
New York State does not recognize it. That's a DOH. I know.
It seems to me that once you establish a policy, you can't do lesser than the policy. You can do greater, but you can't do lesser.
Yeah, it's New York State DOH is what they recognize. If he would have been newer as a national certified EMT, within the first 18 months of him actually obtaining that, it was beyond that, then they could have just shuffled the papers around with a little bit of money, and he would have gotten his.
There was a
EMT
time.
card.
There was a time element.
There was a time
Oh,
element
okay.
involved. He was
Okay.
beyond the 18 months
Okay.
initial period. So,
Okay. No problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Scott going to be able to make our future meetings, or is he?
That I cannot answer. I think so. I think he's actually in the process of changing careers. So, from my understanding, I haven't had much time to sit down and talk to him.
Okay.
But I think so. I think so.
Well, next time you see him, just have him come on over. Get a hold of him if he has a free moment.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you, Jerry. Yes, Tammy?
I forgot something, I don't know how I forgot it, the Pete didn't remind me. Next Tuesday at the planning board meeting, yeah, I totally forgot it too. The planning board will be starting their review process again of our new CVS. We were selected, we are getting the new, looks better on Main Street, this small town store. We're only one of apparently 20 CVS's in the entire United States. And it's a different footprint, it's different square footage. So we'll be starting the process again with the planning board next Tuesday.
That won't delay the tear down.
No. They're still hoping to mobilize last week, January for tear down, and it won't, actually, CVS has it laid out that because we have a demo we have to do here first, they're still going to start construction the same day and still open the front doors of the CVS to customers the same day. We've got, we got 90 days because of demolitions, we can get it in. I can't tell anybody what it looks like though, because I won't see it myself before Thursday afternoon.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
I have a question regarding actually it's the ambulance fund. I was wondering if you could explain the email we received from Randy Shepherd regarding the ambulance account and what that actually means.
Who are you asking?
You.
I don't have any information on that right now.
What did his email mean though?
I don't know. I just saw it yesterday, and I haven't had a chance to work with it, or I talked with him.
Do we have a balance in the account? Do you know what it is?
Are you talking about MedX?
Yes.
I-
I have brought any of that with me.
Ballpark?
I plan on emailing you all when I'm caught up.
Okay. What is Bonadeo going to do regarding that though?
Couldn't tell you. Say yesterday was the first time I heard from Randy since last week, and I've been tied up with a lot of stuff the last few days.
But his initial email, I wasn't quite sure what that meant.
Well, right off the top of my head,
With you, or no?
No. Remember, he said something about it was supposed to be drawn through someplace and it wasn't, and what did all that mean?
probably meant that it should have come through the general fund, and it was actually, I'm not sure. I'm not even going to speculate on that. No.
Can I get a copy of that email?
I think everybody was copied in on it, weren't they?
I think Randy sent it to all of us.
Yeah, because he asked for our email addresses.
Yeah.
It was after last Wednesday's meeting, maybe Friday,
Any other?
Saturday.
We talked with Heidi on Friday. That was the first that we talked about it. It was on Friday.
But I think Brian said on Friday that he was pretty comfortable with everything. He just, some things need to be ironed out. The HRA will be fully funded and everything by then, what actually is now, but it's going to require a,
You send it to me.
Everybody got it from Randy Shepherd.
I didn't get it.
All trustees were included.
Could you please?
Okay.
Change your email address?
You need help with that new toy?
Lots of help.
I'll try to get you a copy tomorrow.
So are you comfortable with what the village has given the ambulance company in payments?
Yeah, our only concern is the time span in between we're getting payments.
They aren't regular?
No, there's delays in them. Really appreciate if we could tighten things up a little bit, so that way we can get stuff on a regular basis. Without saying an awful lot, that having timely
And we had spoken before, do you do a review of all your calls so you know kind of what your expected payment is going to be every month?
That, I just recently started looking at some of that stuff there.
Because we just see a bunch of money and we don't know where, you
Yeah.
know, if it's right or not.
Yeah, that's another thing that's on my agenda. I am personally going to oversee the MedX stuff. Scott and Matt have a lot on the plate. I've got a good vice president now. I've given him a number of items on my plate that will allow me to concentrate on actually starting to check into the MedX stuff.
It's always been a concern. I mean,
Absolutely.
you don't know if you're getting
Nobody- yeah,
paid the
nobody
right
has,
amount or if it's the right level of,
Yeah, well, like I said, so recently I've just seen what there is, the breakdowns and stuff like that. I am going to request from somebody in another corps that handles it on a regular basis to enlighten me on the process. And rather than me trying to sit there and figure out what's what, I will get the proper training on it. And we will start making sure that the coding is correct and that we are getting what
we're supposed to
we
be
are
getting it. And this has been going on for years, so it's nothing new.
correct.
Since
That is
its
correct.
inception.
I think it's something that has just been, nobody thought of.
Pushed to the side, yeah.
Pushed to the side. I'm finding my position was really undefined. Before I got into it, I asked the current president, what do you do? And he honestly said, I really don't know.
Yeah.
So I've spent the past year figuring out what my position needs to be. It is my goal that in the future, when I leave that position, it will be more defined and there'll be some guidelines for whoever comes after.
Right, and there's no assignment of blame. It's just, and there's just no oversight of MedX, period.
Correct.
You're just taking it on a leap of faith that they're giving you the right
Correct.
amount.
And we want to change that.
Yes, and there needs some more interaction with you in the village together
Yes.
to go through.
I've been bugging Megan.
We have been working on going back to 2011 and recreating for quite a while.
Good.
Jerry and I have been working.
Yeah. So just,
It's a lot, and it's a lot on a volunteer to
Yeah.
take on, so thank you, Jerry.
yeah. So
Well, the reward is substantial.
I do more than just this one here, so.
No, we're just looking to
Yeah.
shore it all up.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So that will affect future plans.
exactly. Okay, thank you.
As you know, DA Day, District Attorney's Day, is always the first Wednesday of every month, and if you've ever gone by on a meeting night, you've seen what's downstairs as far as the number of customers. And it's been running, safely to say, it runs from noon to midnight, and it's been a complaint for quite some time on a lot of different parts. So they've decided, I believe they're going to start probably in March, splitting that up. So the first Wednesday of the month, I believe, is going to be afternoon District Attorney's Day for Judge Worth, and then the second Wednesday of the month, they're going to do at night Judge Weidman, and see if that somehow helps cut down on the amount of time. Or at least, I'm not so sure that that's a fair assessment, that it cuts down the amount of time, but at least breaks it up so it doesn't become a 12-hour day for the court clerk and for the ADA. They're both pretty wiped out by the time midnight rolls around. So that, we'll probably see that change in March. Last month we talked about Facebook. I left the mayor some notes. My mistake, I crammed two conversations together. A conversation about warrants and a conversation about William Street. While we have found people, as the notes will say, as we have located people on Facebook that were wanted for warrants, and they've turned themselves in or been located by Facebook, that particular warrant that we executed last week on William Street was not one of those people. That was just independent of its own nature. And you'll see by the Facebook notes there, the pages that the guys printed out quickly for me there last week when I asked for them. There's quite a variety of stuff that's been accomplished on the Facebook page. First and foremost, there's over 1,300 people that chime into that site to view press releases, or to ask a question, or to get educated on something. And I think there's something as simple as there was a dog located within an hour. We got a dog turned into us that went on Facebook, and within an hour the owner noticed it on there and came and collected it. The officers put the odd even parking regulations on there. They put the winter snow parking on there, things of that nature. No parking on Main Street, those things are on there to try to update people and give them a little learning curve there. As recently as this week, as I mentioned last week, we had a gun lost in the bar, and we did some work and found out who that gun's registered to. Turns out it's owned by a guy in Oklahoma. And we contacted him via Facebook, and he acknowledges that it's his gun. He acknowledges he was in Dansville, acknowledges he was in the location it was lost in, but kind of stalls at that point, so we'll work through those details. So it's been a pretty productive tool, and there's just some notes there for interest in entertainment, I guess. Other than that, nothing else. We're going to go to Pennsylvania tomorrow and pick up the guy that stole the car. Get him back here. He waived his extradition. He's just across the state line, so it's no big deal. Go scoop him up, bring him back, and get him arraigned, coincidentally, on a court date. Kind of convenient. So the guys are plowing through the complaints, plowing through the arrests. Moving along. Nothing too notable since last week.
So I take it the crux of all the anecdotes was the fact that is that the end result? That wasn't a result of Facebook? Was that-
On Wayne Street? No, that was just independent police.
So that anecdote was fabricated?
Jay, if your intention is to try and embarrass me somehow, you're going to have to do better than that. Simply as
I don't think I really do.
Yes, you do. And simply as I said, as will occur.
Just a simple yes or no,
No, it's
not true.
You're not a lawyer. It's
That was
simple
not
yes or
true.
no.
I'm a
Basically-
trustee, I'm an elected official here.
Yes, I crammed apparently I overheard two conversations, almost simultaneously, of our successes with Facebook on warrants, and the fact that we just picked up a person on a warrant. My mistake.
Regardless of the excuses, it
No
wasn't true.
excuse. It's a reason.
Okay,
I just want a yes or no, is it true or wasn't it true?
That Facebook related to that person's arrest? No, it's not.
Okay, that's all I want.
I have a question. Was it fabricated?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Fabrication suggests intent. And there's no intent.
I understand that.
Well, you are a lawyer, I forgot.
Simply misunderstood.
Okay.
Anyone else have any questions for the chief?
Thank you, Charlie. As far as the justice reports, we have in hand reports for the months of November and December for you to review. Other than that, nothing else. Unless anybody has any questions for me.
Okay. Thank you, Trustee LeBar. Budget, Finance, and Audit, Trustee Griffith.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the special billings. MRB Group, $77,229 for wastewater treatment plant improvements. Crane Hogan Structural Systems, $615,000, $677.42 for wastewater treatment plant payment requisition number 9. M&W Control Service, $13,221.39 for wastewater treatment plant requisition number 9. Daniel J. Amico Plumbing and Heating for wastewater treatment plant heating requisition number 9. Daniel J. Amico Plumbing and Heating, $5,972.72 for plumbing payment requisition number 9 for the wastewater treatment plant. John Vogel, $1,134 for legal fees. Osborne, Reed, and Burke, $920.10 for legal fees. MRB Group, $3,875 for site remediation work. Timothy R. McGill, $250 for bond counsel. And USDA Rural Development Corporation, $5,818.75 for the hook and ladder truck interest payment.
I have a motion from trustee Griffith to pay the special billings. Can I have his second?
Second.
Second by trustee Whitenack. Any discussion?
Megan, the MRB group, that NICEX site remediation, which fund are we paying that out of? Because I guess the crux that is we're going to get a return on that at the wastewater treatment plant. So
Okay,
probably,
great.
so it probably should come out of the water treatment plant or the wastewater.
It's coming out of the sewer fund right now,
Okay.
and I guess we could just move it later on if we need to.
That's probably where-
Place. The money's going to,
Wastewater treatment plant project is a different fund.
no, not
No,
out
no,
of the
no.
project, out
Oh,
of the
okay.
sewer fund.
Oh, got
You
it.
got it.
That's perfect.
Because we're going to, that money should come back through the cost of processing the water from
Okay.
the waste. Okay?
Got it.
I just wanted to make sure we were going to put it back in the right, or take it out of the right fund.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments, discussion? Not hearing any. Trustee Griffith.
Aye.
Trustee Whitenack.
Aye.
Trustee Labar.
Aye.
Trustee Criley.
Aye.
Mayor's an aye. Okay.
I'd like to make a motion, we pay the bills and audit checks in the general water and sewer fund as listed on your agenda.
I have a motion from trustee Griffith to pay the general water and sewer fund bills. I have a second, please.
I'll second that.
Second from trustee Criley. Any discussion or comments, questions? Not hearing any. Trustee Criley?
Aye.
Trustee Labar?
Aye.
Trustee Whitenack?
Aye.
Trustee Griffith?
Aye.
And the mayor's an aye.
There are currently no abandoned bond payments due for this month. The only other thing I have right now is, I think we're finally caught up, it looks, so we're going to have a regular monthly budget report. We haven't fund-wise spent more, I don't think, in any of the funds that are at the fund total. Some of the subgroups, I guess the one I had a question on is unallocated insurance. We were like double of what we budgeted.
We talked about that at a special meeting, and we are looking into it. We believe that it was possibly the extra insurance that we had to have on the wastewater treatment plant
For the construction.
So that
for the
should,
construction.
We think we
need
gotta
to
confirm it.
research that.
once we find out, we can move that to this wastewater treatment plant project.
Should be able to, I would think.
Well, it should,
Yeah,
if it's,
we'll double check that that's what it is, but we'll be getting back to all of you.
and I guess, when you track, when we start writing checks and payments, are you checking, to make sure you've got funds in that fund balance, or, a balance in that fund, or, because we're starting to get close to the end of the year where it gets easy to,
We do have budget modifications coming up. Brian and I were hoping to do that on Friday. We ran out of time, so we will do that for next month's meeting. We do have to take money from the appropriate line item, but we do, in return, need to do the budget modifications to correct that.
well, as long,
Yes, we are monitoring it. We know that it's there. We discussed it, all of it, just an hour ago. So we do have some research that we have to do, but after I enter the bills, before you guys sign off on them, every month I print a report for myself that shows me where we're in the negative. As far as the budget modifications, we're working on that, so that we can up some of those line items.
the only thing is, the law requires that we make the budget modifications prior to writing, sending, mailing a check, writing a
Okay,
check.
so if you want to do them, that's fine. I can just tell you where I'm at. Or we don't have to pay the bills. I mean.
Well, it's just a matter of time.
One
Well,
decision. It's just.
the thing is, very
bad
seldom-
timing for us, short-staffed. I understand what you're saying, the law is, I understand that. We do plan on doing budget modifications next month.
But until they're approved by the board, we can't spend the money. But the thing is, like the unallocated insurance, that fund is general government support, which has, you haven't paying that, you haven't broken the law there, because it's based on that whole number, that whole general government support number. You know, until we get to go, until you're over them, it's not a big problem. That's what you have to watch for, is not going over the,
Right, I do understand that.
thank you.
Anything else under budget, finance, and audit? Okay, move along to Public Works. Trustee Whitenack.
Okay. Have a dozer purchase and lease update.
Just, where do we stand on that, Scott?
Basically, he's going to write the agreement, I think, until the end of June. He hasn't done the paperwork yet. We have a dozer, we actually made another payment this month.
I saw that.
To that, so,
Right.
and at this point, I've worked it into the budget, especially with Babcocks, they're going to be gone. It's really going to be a necessity. Because we're going to get any equipment now, it's going to be tough in this village. So we'll talk about that budget time down the road. The Cornell Roads has it's a program, they'll bring a student in to the village for, we have to put them on the payroll for like 10 weeks. And they'll take one of our employees and go through every street in the village. And give us a full report when they're done, you know, all kinds of options, what we can do with the streets, 5-year plan. And I got to check into it. I just received that actually today.
It's like an intern.
It's like an internship. So it's something to think about. You know, 10 weeks is quite a commitment with one of my employees.
Didn't let anybody off.
But it looked kind of promising. I think the end result's going to be that they want to spend $3 million to fix our trees that we don't have. So at the end of the day, so it's just something I'll get us more information on that. But it looked pretty interesting.
They contact you, or?
No, it was just a flyer they sent out.
Okay.
But it could help prioritize what you want to do in the future, right?
But you know, we'd have to commit the money to pay this intern, and like I say, another employee. So I guess at the end of the day, will that information be worth the effort?
Did they give a price that they wanted per hour?
I think it was $12 to $15 an hour. And I think it was full-time, 10 weeks, minimum 10 weeks, 10 to 12 weeks, he said. So we got $5,000 to $6,000. And I think it was very minimal upfront cost, like $150 or something, just to cover some computer software. So, other than paying the intern.
They evaluate every street.
Every student, yeah.
Plus a man to watch dog to drive around.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what they said they would want one employee designated, you know. I'm not sure if that's full-time, you know, they would need it full-time. Like I said, I just got it, but I thought it was kind of interesting.
At the end of that, are you going to know any more than you already know about the streets?
I don't know, I got to find out more about it. They give you a lot of options, like you say, I mean, the biggest problem is coming up with the funds to do the work. It's easy to get it done, it's just paying for it. I don't know, Pete, if you want to talk about that Ocean Street crosswalk, I don't know where that is.
Well, we haven't really had a chance to talk about it ourselves, and I don't know, there's not much we're going to do between now. We can, if you want to put that on the table till next month, we can do that.
And the Sparta, I don't think there was much on.
Well, other than the fact we sat down with them there and discussed what they want to do. It's really in their lap, unless the board objects, we're willing to sell the water to them, but they're going to have to come up with a water district. All the other things, they're actually working through the Livingston County Water Sewer Authority as their engineers or lead agency in this anyway. So that's really about where that stands.
Pete, did you get an impression that it's something that they wanted to pursue in the meeting, or?
They're the ones that called for it. And I got the impression they wanted to do something, at least start the initial research into it, see what's going to run them. And they're not possibly coming part way up harder, but not probably more in that first house there. It used to be Jacobs, I think, lived there, but
What's the role of the Livingston County Water and Sewer Authority?
that's who they use for their engineering firm, basically, because they already have water, sewer, or have the water at the Scottsburg. They tried to go sewer to, I believe, down to Groveland. And I think the Scottsburg people said no on that, if I'm not mistaken. And I think the Groveland people said no on the water. But that's who they use.
They're talking about West Sparta extending their water line. What's so?
I haven't heard anything.
Just
Nobody's
don't know.
approached me on it.
Yeah,
Jared hasn't.
Okay, I thought there was some talk here.
There is.
There may be up there.
Okay.
They haven't
Yeah,
approached us
okay,
yet.
Okay.
I think they want to take it up Stoner Hill that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The only other thing I have under Public Works now, let's get back to all his stuff. We just need to set a public hearing for the Seward Street extension dedication. We voted on it last time, but we really need to have the public hearing as well. So my suggestion is that we hold it the night of our regular meeting. We can run it at 6:45. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot on that, other than pros. So if there are no objections, I will schedule that then for 6:45 next February meeting, regular meeting.
Sounds good.
Scott, was there a crosswalk from this parking lot across from St. Mary's Church to St. Mary's Church when you paved that? Was there one
Not when we
previously?
paid it, but I recall
There-
way back in the
there's-
day there was.
There was one not that long ago.
Because it does seem to be kind of dangerous when people are crossing there at church, especially when it's getting evening time. And there's cars parked there and people trying to get across.
There was one, and I'm going to say it wasn't,
There's definitely one I remember.
I recall one
it's-
as well.
There were the school.
there's one by there on the other corner too, or on the corner as well.
Right.
Both of them are pretty well worn out. So,
Yeah,
and I'm,
next day we can put them back.
You would?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
come spring here.
Other than that, we're installing meters. Plowing snow.
Got most of the Christmas trees picked up now?
Yeah, they're all in the pile there, and they're cranking them up. Well, there's that pile, and you gotta see the ones that died. It's amazing how many trees are.
I got a question on the
Yep.
CHIPS money. We were reimbursed by CHIPS for that 115,000 we got.
Right, it was only like 95,000. The problem is when we get the CHIPS money, like they send us, it's after our budget. I think we get it in June. So we really never know what our CHIPS money is.
And that goes into general fund.
That's correct.
We probably, at that time, when we know what we're expending out of it, should move enough money into the CHIPS line so that we don't have a negative balance.
Yeah, we could have, we could have.
You know, once-
That's fine.
Yeah, we need to do, well, we need to do it once.
We could do that in, actually, probably June.
Well, you need to do it before you spend it, it's the whole thing. It's once you fall into that, but that's pretty simple, because you know before you.
I just don't know at budget time, that's the problem.
No, I know, we have no guess at budget time, but that's why we put that money into that general government support, that you move there, because you end up.
Well, that would just be, just modify the revenue, because that's simple budget modification. Once I know what the CHIPS funds are, we know the revenue is going to be 114,000, we just raise the other to 114,000.
Right.
We don't have to use general government support at all for
Well,
that.
you have to have some place to move it from.
No, because you're going to modify the revenue, because
Right,
the revenue is
okay.
going to be.
Yeah, but then you have to, technically, you have to move it to revenue and from revenue to.
That's a brag, I don't want to,
Yeah.
know that at all.
But now, that that's the nice thing of having, now that, we're supposedly going to have a grasp on it.
Yeah, once we
What
get
our
caught
month
up,
is.
this won't be
you can sit here and look at this and tell, we're gonna have $20,000 of expenses next month, approximately, and we've only got $5,000 in the fund, we need to do a modification before we spend money.
Well, now if we move our meetings to
Yeah,
second
Yeah.
or Wednesday or whatever,
yeah. it'll work.
hopefully we'll be able to.
I think that'll work out a lot better.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I think that's all I have.
Parks and Recreation, trustee Whitenack.
I see some information here about Brookside.
Has anybody had a chance to read that information I passed out last month? Any thoughts or anything on how we want to proceed with that? Remember, the idea is they've been paying the electric and gas bills, but their council is telling them that they cannot do that anymore. Looking at the history of the place, it was given to the Girl Scouts by the Board of Education back in 46, 47, something like that.
Right.
And it was taken over because it was on public property. They had a committee, I think it was the Community Youth Committee or something like that was supposed to monitor it, which is basically the Girl Scouts. But technically speaking, it's our building. They use it. They use it on a regular basis. How do we want to handle that?
Is there any other organization that uses it?
The DSO is the only other one that I'm familiar with, the Damsel Service Organization, and as far as I know right now, they're gone. I haven't seen them around in a long several years.
They were told by their council they can't pay the utilities.
They can't use any money they raise on public property. Now, if it was their building someplace on their own property, they could do that.
Could they pay rent for a building?
I don't know, I'd have to ask them.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, we just take whatever the utilities are, divide it up, and
Right.
they pay rent.
Yeah.
But up until now, they've done all of the maintenance on the building, with the exception of the Eagle Scout project that was done 2 years ago now, I guess.
I paid it once.
Year and a half. So, but the heating system, I think everything else in there was put in by their own people,
Right.
parents, whoever they could hijack to do it. I'll approach them and ask them if they can pay rent.
I'll ask them if they can pay
We could-
rent and how much they can afford and
Well,
bring it back here. I mean, my opinion is that it's been there for so many years, a integral part, of providing a service to the community, and obviously you want to continue to support it. But I think, we need to see some type of commitment from them, be it on a monthly basis, and factor that in.
check in on the budget, see if there would be a type of budget system for the utilities.
Are their numbers declining? I mean, how many people
I
do they
don't know. I
have?
don't know what kind of money they're talking.
Still going to end up being the same amount at the
Yeah,
end of the
oh,
year.
yeah. Well, I
Maybe if they
just
came and spoke
didn't
to
want
us.
to see any up and downs, just.
Okay, I'll get a hold of them and ask them.
Invite their director to our meeting. We could have a conversation with them.
Okay.
Just have the back and forth and just get it out there.
Yep, good idea.
Okay, does anybody have any input for the RFP for summer rec program? Anything they would like to see in the RFP? If not, I'll go ahead and put together one, and with the board's approval, I will distribute it to anybody out there that's interested. Are there any objections to me doing that? Or you want to take a formal vote? Doesn't matter to me.
Sounds good.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Okay. And just as an update on the Little League parking area, they said last week I had a chance to meet with Angela Ellis from the County Planning Department regarding the old press property over here on the other side of Pioneer Park to take a look at the parking, what could be done for the Little League. They're going to come back with a couple of options, 2-3 options, and then we'll decide which one we like the best, and hopefully they'll be able to integrate it into whatever they do come spring. I know they are looking for someone to develop that property. There's an opportunity for you. Bite on that.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else you got from Parks and Rec? Almost getting close to that time for the planners again.
I was going to suggest it for next month. Yeah,
Yeah. I'll put it down.
yeah.
It goes up here.
And
March at the latest.
I'd like to do a meeting with them, those people that have them.
Mhm.
But we'll put some.
Okay, technology, trustee Criley.
Webinar on the 15th at 2 p.m.
That is, I've been told this evening, it's been changed because the young lady who was going to do it is indisposed, and they put somebody else in charge of it, so I've got to touch base with her, so that will not be occurring. I apologize for that. I did, fill in that space anyways, I did talk yesterday with Amy Churchfield, who's the associate dean, or the interim associate dean over at GCC, about getting an intern for the office over here to help us on the computer. And she was going to take a look at, they do have computer classes over there, and they do have an internship. She was going to take a look and see who still needs to have one, and would get back to me on that, but I'll touch base with her by the end of the week, see if she's done anything. So that's where that stands. Okay. Anything else for the committees? And moving on to unfinished business, I would like to appoint Jessica Wissick as the part-time deputy clerk. Would entertain a motion to that effect.
So move.
A motion by trustee Whitenack to appoint Jessica Wissick as the part-time clerk, deputy clerk, I should say. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion?
I don't feel comfortable voting on it myself. I take very seriously how we spend this community's money, and I think we were elected to be the watchdogs of it. That's probably why we have the low turnout. I guess most people trust us. We have no input into this decision and no information, and I just don't feel comfortable voting on something like that.
Any other comments?
I recognize she's going to be part-time. Will there be a probationary period even though she's part-time?
Well, she's on a one-year basis. That's an appointment.
Renewable, but
It has to be renewed every year for the deputy clerk.
but we'll visit it. We'll visit it at reorganization, right?
Yes, that's when, well, actually, she's only really until
Right.
April,
Right.
Okay.
when we make our appointments.
It'll be till April.
Then there'll be
Right.
another
We can do an
year.
assessment.
Mhm.
Okay. I'll go with that.
I guess I'd just like to comment on trustee Griffith, that when they are the clerk to the board or the deputy clerk to the board, it would be nice to have the board involved in the decision.
Anything else?
Was any of the board involved?
Pardon?
Was any of the board involved?
No?
Just you?
Just me? My appointment?
It is your appointment. I'm just making the statement that this person is clerk to the board, and that would be nice if we were included in some of the conversation.
Noted. Any other comments? Trustee Criley?
Aye.
Trustee Labar?
Aye.
Trustee Whitenack?
Aye.
Trustee Griffith?
Abstain.
And the mayor's an aye. Motion passes. You contact Jessica. Okay, you were all given last week the copies of the bid proposals for our Police Department Assessment Study. Anybody like to start the conversation?
I'd say upon reviewing all the studies, I believe Clark Patterson Lee certainly meets our needs. And I make a motion that we go with Clark Patterson Lee to perform our police department study.
I'll second that motion.
Motion from trustee Criley to select or approve Clark Patterson Lee as the consultant to do the study for the police department assessment. I have a second by trustee Griffith. Discussion.
I feel the quote is excessive.
What, $30-some thousand, I believe, off the top of my
Right.
head.
The only other credible one I saw was 40,000.
No, I'm not, the state will do it for nothing, so.
I'm sorry, what was that? I missed it.
I said the state would do it for nothing,
The state will do it for nothing?
yeah.
Mhm.
We don't have anything from the state, at least not that I'm aware of, as to the type of study that they would conduct. Personally, I would like to see information from the state for comparison to what we currently have before I approve spending any money for a study.
Shouldn't we have that already? If there's any
We had-
information
Yeah,
behind?
DJI.
We had the discussion several months ago now.
Yeah, right.
Regarding that. I have some emails, I can get them to you. They say it's our, to be quite honest, our RFP was based on most of what they put in their proposal to us. I wouldn't say proposal, but what they would do. I borrowed from them. We would have something that would match apples and oranges with apples and oranges, not grapefruits.
I guess I would say if you're going to invest in doing it correctly, since it hasn't been done in 25-plus years, we need to invest in someone that is as thorough and objective as Clark Patterson Lee.
Well, that was one of the things that was discussed, why we didn't want to go with the state, was because we didn't think it was going to be objective. But to be quite honest, I have a little bit of a concern with Clark Patterson Lee when they've got the sheriff, the former sheriff of Livingston County on there, and we know that has not been what you would call a stellar relationship between our PD and the former sheriff. So I can't see how that's going to be objective, to be quite honest.
So you want to pick someone that they have a good relationship with?
No, I want someone who's neutral, period. If we're going to be objective for one, we got to be objective on the other. And you're saying that the state would not be objective, that we know the outcome of that already. And I'm not convinced that with the relationship that our department has had with in the past with the sheriff's department, that you're going to get an objective study, assessment.
But that's only one person in the whole organization, and they're just going to gather information, not make determinations on part of the Clark Patterson Lee.
Well, like
I
Dick
don't
was
think you're
saying,
gonna find
I think
anybody.
I could trust the state to be objective, and it wouldn't cost us anything.
I'd rather be sitting here, pay nothing, have the state come in, conduct their study, look at the results, and make a determination whether or not there are any biases, and then move from that point versus spending $35,000 at the on-site. I don't know, it just makes better sense to me to,
Start
take
with that.
advantage of what's available to us out there at no cost, and then make a determination based upon the results that we see.
So we should have backed up and done that in the first place.
Absolutely. We should have done that in the first place. I mean, I was pretty impressed, with the RFPs personally. They touched upon a lot of points I think we all have an interest in. So I'm definitely concerned with the amount of money we'd have to spend, to fill in the blanks. And my approach
Have you looked at our police budget lately?
Pardon?
Have you looked at our police budget?
Yes, I have. But again, we don't know what we can gain yet at no cost. And I think we ought to pursue that first, and then take a look at the options if we're not satisfied with the results we get.
What's the time frame for the state?
Don't know, we put them out of the picture. I'm sure it wouldn't take them long. I'd have to contact them again.
I mean, going out with the RFPs and looking for, information relative to a study, well, we had 3 responses, and that's something we didn't have previously. So we have that information in hand. We know what they can do for us. We know what it'll cost us. Could there be an adjustment, if we wait a few months? Maybe. So, we've got that part to fall back on, at least provide us with some guidance if we choose to do something differently.
Any other comments? We have a motion on the floor to go with Clark Patterson Lee. Are there any other comments? I'll ask for a vote. Trustee Griffith?
Aye.
Trustee Whitenack?
No.
Trustee Labar?
No.
Trustee Criley?
Aye.
And the mayor is a no. Just fails to pass, 2 to 3. Okay. Okay, there's a resolution in your folders regarding the extending the boundaries from the revitalization district, downtown revitalization district, to extend down Franklin Street to Spruce, and up Spruce to Ocean, and then join in with the regular boundary again. Take a minute, you can read it over. You all received the maps last week.
What were the results of extending that farther?
As far as beyond what we've already designated,
Beyond this,
that pink addition I put in there,
yeah.
we could extend it probably a little bit further, but we can't extend it to the whole town. They told us that the other day. I talked with Julie Marshall about it. But we could probably make it bigger if you want to.
What did Julie Marshall give for a reason that prevents us from extending it to the entire village?
I didn't ask her for anything beyond that, whether we quit or not.
You know, I think we got sold a whole bill of goods on that whole deal. They picked a small area of Main Street and targeted it, and we were looking to try and make Dansville grow. You know, commercial growth is what's going to make this community hopefully, resurrect. I don't don't see the commercial growth going to happen on Main Street. That whole what, E384 or whatever program, the tax,
Well, this is separate from the tax. The tax is
but
included.
that's what this one's about.
Well, it could be, I don't know, he didn't really say, it was just to
Well, it
include
says
them in the district.
extend tax exemption district.
Well, actually, that's inappropriate. I mislabeled that, it should be district, the downtown district, revitalization district. So that part there is incorrect on the agenda. Let's see. On the resolution, it says the downtown revitalization district.
Which was the same boundaries used for the tax exemption district.
Yes. But it also includes your sign and facade program, your downtown improvement program, your micro enterprise program.
Well, and I think when we met with Louise Wadsworth and their group, that it was a big rush to push through, and I know we specifically talked about I'm talking about the tax exemption district, of extending it, and it was going to be no problem. It's just something the planning board need to get done. I think it's something we need to get done. We need to encourage some growth. If this is just basically for the I think it's the historical district or something, wasn't it?
Well, that's included as part of it, yes.
That's fine,
They're
but on
coterminous.
top of that, I think we need to look forward and extend that tax exemption district.
Would not disagree with you on that. But right now, the proposal before us is the resolution on the downtown revitalization district boundaries.
I agree with Trustee Jay that, we and with Mayor Pete, that we need to address, what we have in front of us, but we need to look beyond that. And if there's something we can do in the community to further enhance what it offers, any new businesses, we ought to be doing that, and this is probably a good time because it's risen to the surface.
I'm sure that tax exemption played a big part in CVS's decision.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's huge, 10 years.
No, I agree.
Well, 12, that's 8 free and 4 prorated, 12 years. It's huge.
Yep.
And that's, to me, that's our key to attracting things like that. But when you just wad it into this little area up here, it's not going to happen.
More likely, yeah. We need some additional follow-up to this.
Well, like I say, this is one issue.
Yep, I
Yet
agree.
the tax one's another issue.
Yep.
Yeah, that they have some overlap.
Yep.
But we can press for both of them. I'd like a motion, though, on this one. Take care of one, at least this part of it, and then move on to the next one. I can put something together or try to get something together for next month.
I will make a motion that we approve extending the downtown revitalization district as indicated on the Dansville Downtown Revitalization District map provided to us.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. We have a motion from Trustee Labar to approve the downtown revitalization district, and a second from Trustee Griffith. Any discussion? Okay. Trustee Criley?
Aye.
Trustee Labar?
Aye.
Trustee Wojtnak?
Aye.
Trustee Griffith?
Aye.
And the mayor is an aye as well. Passes unanimously. Thank you.
I'd like to go back to the police assessment study proposal, so we're basically doing nothing now? Since Clerk Bearston Lee was rejected?
They're rejected, but we can, if you want to discuss another option, I think Trustee Labar put out something there that he wanted to go forward with the state. I can certainly get that initiated, find out some more information from them. Probably put in the context of what the bid proposals are, at least in the format. And have them present, see how long it will take them to get geared up and how long it will take them to actually conduct the survey or the assessment.
I'll make a motion, so moved.
Okay, we have a motion then from Trustee Criley to approach the state on a proposal from them and how they'll conduct their study for the police department. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second from Trustee Labar. Any discussion?
Can you include a time frame in there?
A time frame for them or a time frame for us?
Both.
I can get the message off to them this week. That's not going to be a problem. I'll ask them to get back to us before next meeting,
Okay.
if that's okay.
Yep.
All right. All right. Have a motion on the floor, so Trustee Criley?
Aye.
Trustee Labar?
Aye.
Trustee Whitenack?
Aye.
Trustee Griffith?
Nay.
Mayor is an aye. Passes 4-1. Thank you. Okay. Under new business, we had a resolution here on the Time Warner tax issue. We're holding off on that one for now, trying to get some more information from John. That may be a non-issue. Also, there's a resolution in your folder. It's on a fair housing grievance process. This is part of our residential rehab grant program. We have to have this. I am the fair housing officer, and in fact, this week I am, starting last week, I'm actually involved in a case. So we just need to have this grievance process put put on the table and voted on.
Is this established now?
Pardon?
Is this established now? Is this the one we was talking about?
Fair housing?
Yeah. This is what we talked about.
Well, we haven't got the grant yet, no.
Yeah, no, right.
But this is the
Right,
part of the
okay.
application process. We have to have something to go in with it.
Right.
What we're talking about in the residential rehab programs for low to low moderate income families to get some assistance from the state to fix up their homes. The town has had one. I don't know, I guess they're probably completed by now. There were some village residents in on that because they didn't get enough out of the town itself. But we've had a number of inquiries over the past year. In fact, we applied last year and it got shot down. This year, we're going to try again. Hopefully, the second time's a charmer.
I did have one comment.
Mm-hmm.
The Section 504 grievance policy
Mm-hmm.
on page 2, second paragraph. Section 504, coordinator will issue a written decision on the grievance no later than 30 days after its filing. I thought maybe it'd be appropriate to put in there about notification. Because the next paragraph starts, the person filing the grievance may appeal the decision of the Section 504 coordinator by writing to the village board, so it really doesn't have anything in there relative to the form or requirements around notification.
Okay, you want some time, a time frame?
Yeah, time frame and maybe how, that kind
10,
of thing.
15, 30 days?
Whatever kind of fits with the, time frame and I didn't really have anything in mind other than we ought to set some time frame for
I would say
notification.
20 business days.
Yeah, and maybe just the form or forms of notification that we can use.
Mhm. We can do that.
That's all.
Any other comments or questions, concerns, suggestions? Could I have a motion then to approve this fair housing grievance resolution as amended by trustee Labar, or I should say as adjusted by him?
Also, go
I
ahead.
got a motion by trustee Whitenack, second.
I'll second it.
Second by trustee Labar. Discussion? Okay. Trustee Griffith?
Aye.
Trustee Whitenack?
Aye.
Trustee Labar?
Aye.
Trustee Criley?
Aye.
And the mayor's an aye. Thank you very much. Okay, before we go to community comments, any board members have anything they want to bring up?
In the December committee and regular board meeting, there was a contractual issue that we had the village attorney's input and research, and I'd like an update on that, please.
I haven't got anything back yet.
He hasn't given you anything in one?
Well, he got back to me, but it was an incomplete response. He said that regarding the current issue of the individual involved, that's, since he's been hired, the county's not going to get involved in it. As to some of your other questions, that really wasn't answered in the email I got. So I've contacted John and asked him to get a more detailed response.
I didn't have an issue with the employee. It was,
No, well, I know, but that's the answer that came back.
That sounds like what it was, and that wasn't it at all. There was a
And as I said,
procedural issue.
and that's why I went back to him and I thought that wasn't really answering the question. So see what we get back. Any other issues?
Do we need someone that has contractual experience, an attorney?
Pardon me?
Do we need an attorney with contractual experience?
It's possible. Let's see what John comes back with and we can decide from that.
Could you share the email with us, please?
Pardon me?
Could you share his response with us?
No problem. Okay, anything, if there's nothing else, community comments?
Just us?
Just you.
Yes, on the Little League parking, is it possible that the village of Dansville could take and ask the county to take and give the village Little League the whole property?
I don't think, I can ask, but right now they're going to say no.
For several years now, we've talked about the fact that this park you put on the other side of the expressway
We didn't.
doesn't have a tunnel where the kids can go down West Ave, down the West Ave extension and through a tunnel, which would be so much safer than going down Washington Street. If you could take and ask the county to give us this property up here, it would resolve a big problem with the kids because they would be in either or.
Well, number one, Bill, that's not our property down there on the other side of the expressway. That's the town's.
Well, it's still for the Little League, right? There's no tunnel for safety, okay? So use that one down there for the, say, the seniors who want to take and play ball. See about the county giving us this property over here for our Little League up here.
Our Little League already has a field.
Yeah, they could use another one. Right.
Well, that's up to the Little League.
So anyhow, you know, I was just talking to a couple coaches. Anyhow,
on this, having somebody come to the village and go through our streets and everything else and see how they can improve. On our flood zone for the Seward Street area, there's a bridge on Seward Street between Health Street and Cotty Street that we've asked for several years now to be replaced. Reason, because that particular sluice is about that big around. You go to Chestnut Street, you go to Liberty Street, you go to the little Milton Street or wherever it is, you go any place else, and you got holes like this for carrying the water. The flood map shows that because of that sluice, not big enough to even carry a toothpick of water, floods over and comes down into Elizabeth Street, extending the flood zone. If you would take and replace that bridge, you would eliminate all your problems for flooding, and therefore would eliminate a lot of problems for the people in that area. It's an illegal flood zone anyhow, because that ditch dries up every year. The only water flow in that area comes down from the castle on the hill. That's not even on your topographical map that the federal government puts out. So if you look at it from where they stood on Maury Ave saying that this is a good flow of water, it comes 100 yards down off the hill. It's not even a flood zone. So replace that bridge so that water doesn't take and plug up, and be done with it. I would appreciate that on one issue. Recording of executive session. Why can't you record? And if somebody asks for information pertaining to any issue that was on the executive, I could get it. Can I get it now?
Nope. Not entitled to it.
So it's like a ghost, right?
It's supposed to be.
Consolidation Committee. It seems funny that the Consolidation Committee has been working in this village for how many years now?
It's been off and on.
Yeah. Why don't we just take and get done with it?
Amen.
There seems to be a problem with a lot of issues. And we have took a note to this. It seems like it's hidden in the unconscious is an insatiable desire for conflict to obtain power and wealth. And that's exactly what you people do when you take and you have a problem of completing an issue. If you don't like the issue, excuse yourself from it, but don't stop it. We've been sitting here for village board meetings for years waiting for this to take and come to an end so we can take and go move on. Why not? My other big issue is visitors recognition.
That's not on the discussion tonight, Bill. You've already gotten my response.
It says here none.
That's right, there is none. And you were told why.
Because I didn't have the time frame. This time I had the correct time frame.
No, that was not why.
Why?
The reason why you were not given, I already explained it in the letter to you.
What letter?
The letter was sent to you.
I never got no letter.
It was sent last week.
I still haven't got no letter.
Well, I'll get it to you again and show you why.
Why? Tell me here.
Because this meeting is for the board. It is not an opportunity for anybody to come up and talk about anything they want and use this as a bully pulpit.
Okay?
And in that letter that you submitted,
Yeah.
doesn't raise any question. It just raises you're first of all, you're not even that officer anymore. The people who have a complaint, if there is one there, are the officers who are currently in charge of the Masonic organization here in Dansville now.
That's not even the whole gesture of the thing.
Well, that's how
The
it-
gesture of the thing is that the village of Dansville used their employees to get Keith Petty off the charges. But yet you refuse to take and do your job on these ditches. It seems like it always is, it's private property. We can't go on private property.
We've never said that.
You didn't, but all the other people had. For the simple reason, you've been confronted too many times and you can't say it's private property anymore. This is your property. No trees should be taken growing any place 15 feet from center on both sides of either one of those ditches, thereby eliminating all chances of flooding. That is the reason why that letter was sent, and that's the reason why I want to make it plain and simple to the public that you and all the other ones, because remember, you used to be the reporter for the newspaper that muddied up the water several times on this issue. And if we can't take and speak in front of the public, even one or two people even, to have it on record that we said something, to indicate that all these people ever since 1986 have lied to the public, this is private property, we can't do nothing to it. Now, in 1998, Keith Petty was brought up on charges because your people were down there helping him with his swimming pool.
That's right, your people were down there helping them with a swimming pool. That was the allegations.
The village of Dansville's people were down there working on the swimming pool.
Those were the
Okay.
allegations.
And he was taken off of charges because your village workers went out of their way to use the Masonic Lodge property to take and get pictures to get him off of charges.
I don't know anything about that, Bill.
Well,
I
if you
wasn't-
were to take and remember one thing, you don't remember a lot of things. And that is the problem the taxpayers have. We would take and have a better issues here in our village if we would take and have some work done to protect these people. We got people moving out left and right. Why? Because they got to pay this flood insurance because you won't take and do nothing. You said when you first started your administration that you wanted to take and have anybody come and talk about these things. We came to you and we talked about it,
Yeah, it was duly noted, and
and nothing's been done.
that's not exactly true.
Where's all the trees taken down? We've got a log that's just about ready to go into the ditch. It's about 15 to 20 foot long. It should be taken out of there now before it goes down into the ditch.
That's as much your responsibility as it is the village's.
We've mentioned it several times.
Have you taken it down? Have you pulled it out?
Christ sakes alive, the damn thing is this big around.
What's that got to do with it?
What am I going to do? It's not on my property.
Where is it? Whose property is it on?
Denny's. If it goes down to the ditch, it's going to do some damage. And we could take and get it out now. Get your workers down there to take it out. Here, girl. And as far as me speaking, my freedom of speech gives me the right to say anything I want there.
No, it does not.
Yes, it does.
No, it does not.
Yes, it does.
This is our meeting, Bill, but that's the end of the discussion now. I would entertain a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of
Take away this
discussing the
visitor
CSCA.
recognition.
Excuse me, you're out of order.
Take away this visitor's recognition. and take away
CSCA
this
contract
community comment.
negotiations and grievous/notice of claim motion to adjourn. Yeah, that's all mixed up. Squeezed it in there, didn't you?
Yes, sorry.
Anyway, executive session, may I have a motion to go into that, please?
So move.
A motion by trustee Whitenack, may I have a second? Okay, no second, then we won't go into it. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Okay. Second? To adjourn?
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.